The anime begins by presenting the story of a world created by a goddess, where 9 different races live together: Dragonutes, Elves, Onifolk, Dwarves, Demonkin, Dark Elves, Centaurs, Beastfolk, and humans. Among them was Light, a young human who dreamed of becoming an adventurer to give his family a better life. Determined, he said goodbye to his hometown and set off in search of money and power. Upon arriving in a large city, Light was pushed around by the crowd but kept moving forward until he found the Adventurers Guild. As soon as he entered, he introduced himself to the receptionist, who asked if he wanted to register as a new adventurer. He confirmed, and the woman explained that every beginner started at the lowest rank, rank F, then asked if he had any special skill. Light said he had a skill called Unlimited Gacha, capable of summoning random cards. To demonstrate, he activated his power and made a bent fork appear. The receptionist was speechless, trying to justify himself. Light said that the gacha was useful, but when he continued the tests, he only managed to summon a rotten apple and a piece of moldy bread. Embarrassed, he explained that this didn't usually happen. The receptionist confirmed that he indeed fit perfectly into rank F. After receiving his adventurer card, Light asked for some missions. She told him to look at the quest board, but noticed by his expression that he couldn't read. Because of that, she offered him the jobs no one wanted: cutting grass, carrying dirt, and collecting firewood, warning him that the payment would be low. Even so, Light gladly accepted the simple tasks. After a long day of hard work, he earned enough money to rent a room at an inn. However, before he could rest, 3 beastmen surrounded him, knocked him down, and laughed at him. The leader took the money he had earned, mocking him for causing such a fuss over so little. Light asked them to leave him alone, but the wolf man punched him, throwing him to the ground. Laughing, the group walked away, leaving him hurt and humiliated while the crowd ignored him. Among everyone there, only one elf approached to help him. Gently, she hugged him to calm him down, ignoring the stares and laughter around them. Surprised by her attitude, Light allowed her to help. The elf introduced herself as Sasha, a member of the Concord of Tribes, a group of adventurers formed by representatives of the 9 races. By her side were Garu, a beastman, and other companions: Drago, Diablo, Oboro, Nano, Sion, and Santor. Sasha explained that they only needed 1 human to complete the group, and Garu said their goal was to create unity among all races, fighting against prejudice and building a fairer world. Light was moved by the idea that they needed him and accepted the invitation with enthusiasm. Shortly after, the group began exploring a dungeon called Abyss. During their journey, giant snakes appeared and attacked Light. Drago quickly protected him, while Sasha took down another serpent with her bow, warning him to be more careful. Sitting beside him, she treated his wounds gently. The others began teasing her for acting so protective. Embarrassed, Sasha tried to hide it, saying she was only taking care of a teammate. But the group kept laughing, making her blush. Drago reassured Light, saying that making good tea was contribution enough. Amid jokes, everyone went deeper into the dungeon. When they reached a dead end, Drago asked them to stop. Light thought they were taking a break and began preparing tea, but Drago interrupted, saying they didn't need him because they were expelling him from the group. Light thought it was a joke, but Drago's expression remained cold. Garu confirmed it, saying they didn't need him anymore. Sasha, who had once shown kindness, now looked at him with contempt. Sion and Nano also mocked him, calling him useless, while Diablo and Oboro felt relieved to get rid of what they called dead weight. Confused, Light asked why they were being so cruel after all their kindness. Garu revealed that it had all been an act. They only wanted him to join the group. When Light asked why, Drago explained that they had recruited him because of his special ability, believing he was a maestro capable of summoning valuable powers. But after realizing that unlimited gacha was worthless, they decided to get rid of him. Light tried to argue, saying that even if his ability was unpredictable, he could still help, but Garu just laughed, calling him a failure and saying that a talentless human had no place among them. Thus, abandoned and disillusioned, Light realized that all their camaraderie had been nothing but a lie. Sasha thought they had already taken too long to get rid of him. She felt enormous relief even knowing they could obtain a maestro's blood. Just imagining marrying someone as inferior as Light made her entire body shiver. Light was speechless after hearing that, and Drago decided to end things once and for all. He ordered Garou to finish off the boy before other adventurers arrived, and only then did Light realize the real danger he was in. Seeing their threatening looks, Light understood they intended to kill him. Drago stated they had received orders to eliminate any potential problem. Garou drew his Wolverine claws and lunged forward, slashing Light's face. The boy panicked as he saw the blood dripping down. While the group watched coldly, he ran away screaming, overcome by fear. Garou mocked him, saying he could run all he wanted, he would just end up as food for the monsters of the abyss. But Sasha shot an arrow that struck his leg, stopping any chance of escape. Light fell to the ground, and Garou amused himself with his pain. He kicked him hard in the stomach, sending him forward, and kept beating him mercilessly until Sasha interrupted, reminding him that they needed to make it look like an accident. Then Garou raised his claw for the final blow. Facing death approaching, Light crawled, desperately trying to stay alive. Garou grew excited at the sight, watching the weak boy struggle for his life. Suddenly, Light's hand touched a teleportation trap. Drago shouted for Garou to kill him before the spell activated. But the trap surrounded him in Light and transported him to safety before they could reach him. Light opened his eyes in another part of the dungeon, still gravely wounded. He believed he would be devoured by a monster at any moment. That moment of despair made him think of his family, and tears rolled down his face. He remembered the initial kindness of the Concord of Tribes group and couldn't understand how they had become so cruel. Anger replaced the sadness. He didn't even know what this maestro they mentioned was, nor from whom they had received the order to kill him. The confusion turned into fury, and Light swore revenge. Determined, he stood up, but then heard a sound behind him. When he turned, he saw a level 1000 monster staring at him. Light wondered what such a powerful creature was doing there and realized the trap had teleported him to the deepest level of the abyss. The monster approached, and he started thinking of a way to escape. Desperate, he activated his unlimited gacha ability, summoning a large magic circle in front of him. To his surprise, Light saw the circle release an intense aura, and then a girl dressed as a maid appeared. In the blink of an eye, she completely destroyed the monster. Before Light's stunned gaze, the girl cleaned all the creature's remains with a simple wave of her arm. She approached and knelt before him, healing each of his wounds with magic. She apologized for acting without permission, saying she couldn't stand seeing him hurt, and humbly asked him to tell her his name. Light introduced himself. Enchanted, the girl repeated his name several times and declared that, according to the maid's code of honor, she swore total loyalty to him. Not understanding who she was, Light asked her name, and she replied that she was May, the ever-seeking maiden, level 9999. May explained that she was a super ultra rare card from Light's unlimited gacha. The boy said his gacha only produced trash and found it impossible that someone so incredible could have come from it. May replied that she was just a simple maid and asked him to call her only May. Seeing her sad expression, Light agreed. She smiled and thanked him. Soon after, she asked to examine his gacha ability, and Light was surprised to learn that she possessed the appraisal skill. May explained that this was only one of her many abilities and asked permission to analyze his energy. When Light accepted, her eyes shone as she examined his magical flow, revealing several hidden layers of protection. May was impressed by the ability's power. She said the gacha seemed useless because Light had been using it in places without mana, in the abyss. However, the massive concentration of magical energy fueled the gacha, increasing his chances of obtaining rare cards. She explained the levels of the unlimited gacha, from the highest extra rare and super ultra rare to the lowest, normal and error. Light still didn't fully understand, so May told him that on the surface, he would never get good summons because of the lack of mana. She praised him for discovering the gacha's potential and daring to enter the abyss to try to draw a rare card, but pointed out that it was extremely dangerous to do so alone. Light said he hadn't come alone, he had descended with a group, but they betrayed and tortured him. Remembering what he had suffered, Light began to cry, revealing everything to May. He said he only wanted to live honestly to help his family. May watched him carefully, feeling the weight of the pain he carried after so much cruelty and betrayal. At last, Light fell to his knees, declaring that he would never forgive those cruel people who had hurt him. Mai wrapped him in an embrace, trying to comfort him. In her arms, Light gradually calmed down and stopped crying. With a determined look, Mai said that she might never fully understand his pain, but she would use all her strength to make the Concord of Tribes pay for what they had done. Light looked at her, surprised, as Mai promised to place each of their heads before him without hesitation. He stopped her before she could go through with the idea. Mai knew Light had a kind heart but believed that group didn't deserve any mercy. Even so, Light replied that he had ended up in that situation because of his own weakness. He declared that he didn't intend to use her power for revenge, but to become stronger on his own and punish them all with his own hands. Light thought Mai would consider his words naive, but when he turned, he saw her kneeling before him, promising to support him in everything he did. After Mai said she completely trusted his abilities, Light gave a sincere smile. She answered with another smile before Light activated the gacha again, trying to summon another powerful card in the abyss. As she watched him, Mai saw determination growing in his eyes. Surrounded by dense energy, Light gathered all the mana of the abyss, and huge magic circles began to shine around him, marking the beginning of a new, power-filled summoning. The story moves forward 3 years later. In the depths of the abyss, Light had built his own kingdom, a place where everyone respected and admired him. As he walked through the city, a resident approached to warn that the snack supplies were running low. Light replied that he would inform the administrator about the issue. This had been happening because the population had grown a lot in recent years, and perhaps it was time to review the entire logistics system of the kingdom. Curious, Light asked what the other members of the quartet were doing. Mei explained that everyone was diligently carrying out their duties. Yuki, for example, was on an exploration mission in the upper parts of the abyss, drawing new maps. Light thought that was an excellent decision, even though the surface forests were full of monsters. For a creature tamer like Aoyuki, that posed no danger. Then he asked about Ellie's progress, and Mei replied that she was doing very well, dedicating herself to developing new spells according to Light's grand plans. The king commented that there were many projects happening at the same time and hoped Ellie wouldn't end up overworked. Mei assured him there was nothing to worry about since everyone felt happy to serve him. Soon, he asked about Mizuna. Mei explained that she was patrolling the castle gardens as usual. Mizuna was a hand-to-hand combat specialist, but aside from that, there weren't many important tasks for her at the moment. Light thought it was great to have her around since her presence made the castle livelier. Later, as he crossed another room in the castle, Light was greeted by Jack. Mei scolded him, saying he should treat the master with more respect, but Light only smiled and said it was fine, as he saw Jack as an older brother. He said goodbye to Mei and told her he was going to train. The two began an intense physical training session, exchanging blows with speed and precision. Meanwhile, Mizuna continued her patrol through the castle. Some maids praised her for her good work and asked for a favor. They wanted her to check a very important and secret place, one they weren't allowed to enter. Mizuna went to the indicated place and knocked on the door. To her surprise, Mei appeared. She asked what Mizuna was doing there, in Master Light's room. Mizuna replied that she was just doing her patrol. Mei tried to send her away, claiming the room was safe, but Mizuna insisted and asked why she was inside. Slightly embarrassed, Mei reminded her that she was the head maid and that it was her duty to make sure the master's room was always spotless. While speaking, Mizuna entered the room and commented that the bed looked like it had been used recently, as if someone had rolled around and kicked the blankets while smelling the pillows. Nervously, Mei made up an excuse. She said she was the one who did that, as it was part of her unique bed-making style. Mizuna got curious and asked her to explain better, but Mei refused, saying she couldn't reveal her professional secrets. Mizuna thought that was amazing, as if it were a special ability meant only for household tasks, and said that Mei truly lived up to her reputation as the master's first and most important summon. Mei breathed a sigh of relief that Mizuna believed everything without suspecting a thing. Before leaving, Mizuna remembered a message from the maids for Mei. She handed her a letter that read, "We demand that all maids have the right to clean Master Light's room. You cannot monopolize this duty. Vote yes to remove the tyrannical head maid." Mei sighed and said she would deal with it later. To thank her, she handed Nazuna a few coins, and the girl happily left to spend them. At the market, she came across several options but didn't get confused. Her stomach already knew what it wanted: dorayaki and milk. Later, Nazuna went to the castle balcony and found Aoyuki there. She asked what her companion was doing back. Since she thought Aoyuki was still exploring the surface forests, Aoyuki only replied with a meow. Holding her dorayaki, Nazuna said she wouldn't share it. Aoyuki meowed again. Nazuna commented that she could keep meowing all she wanted, but she didn't understand what that meant. She asked if Aoyuki had found any strong monsters during the exploration and offered help, saying that even though she was summoned later, she considered herself the older and stronger sister. Aoyuki calmly explained that it wasn't like that she had just finished the map Mei had requested and returned to deliver it. Nazuna laughed and congratulated her with a friendly pat on the back before returning to her patrol. This time, she decided to check the throne room. She felt sad for not having seen Master Light that day, and missing him, she approached the throne and leaned against it, daydreaming. She ended up bumping into part of the decoration and breaking it. Panicking, she tried to put the piece back in place and ran out of the room. Meanwhile, Light continued training with Jack until his companion suggested they end for the day and take a bath. Light agreed. Inside the bath, Jack commented that the master had almost completely mastered using his own body as a weapon. Few in the abyss could face him on equal terms, and on the surface, that number would be even smaller. Even so, he warned him never to let his guard down. Light understood the advice. The surface world was full of mysteries, but he had no intention of being careless. There was still a purpose he needed to fulfill his revenge. Later, Mei gathered the maids because of the letter Nazuna had delivered. The young women apologized, saying they just wanted to ease their boss's workload since she had been very busy. Mei, however, rejected the request and assigned them to clean the corridor leading to the throne room by hand, without magic or tools. The maids protested, saying it would be impossible to clean such a large corridor. But Mei replied that it was possible and that a maid's path begins with a single step. She announced that she would soon depart for the surface on a mission ordered by Light and expected everyone to keep the castle spotless during her absence. Nazuna was walking through the city streets, carefully observing a gauntlet she had wanted to buy for a long time. While examining the item, Ellie approached, curious, asking what she was doing there and if she had come looking for sweets. Nazuna firmly denied it, explaining that she was just admiring the gauntlet. Then she asked what Ellie was doing in the city, since she thought she would be busy with some construction or inspection. Ellie replied that she had finished her work ahead of schedule, so she was back. In a teasing tone, she called Nazuna an idiot for not realizing something so simple. Nazuna immediately defended herself, saying she wasn't an idiot and could prove it after all. She knew all the multiplication tables, but when she tried to recite the table of number 1, she got it completely wrong. Seeing that, Ellie thought her companion's stupidity truly knew no limits. Nazuna retorted that people who called others stupid were the truly stupid ones. The provocation worked, and Ellie, irritated, replied that Light considered her an essential part of his revenge plan. Unlike Nazuna and her tiny brain, with a tone of superiority, she added that, a few days ago, she had tea with Light to discuss the progress of the plan, and that next time, she intended to reserve a private space for them to have dinner together with some nighttime entertainment included. Nazuna thought that was unfair and said she also wanted to have tea with Light. Ellie asked if she only wanted the tea, and Nazuna replied yes, not understanding the point of the question. Ellie thought to herself that yes, there was something hotter than tea involved and wondered whether Nazuna was just naive or completely childish. Ignoring the teasing tone, Nazuna commented that Ellie was amazing with magic but weak in hand-to-hand combat. She said that if Ellie ever needed help, she could count on her for any fight. After that, she said goodbye and went back to her patrol. Meanwhile, the castle maids were furious. The punishment imposed by Mei seemed unfair, since all they wanted was to clean Light's room actually, so they could smell his sheets and pillows. They complained that the head maid was always overloaded with tasks and didn't understand why she wouldn't let anyone else take care of that room. They recalled that Mei was Light's first summon, and that it took 3 months before Aoyuki was summoned as the second. Consumed by curiosity and jealousy, they began to imagine what Mei might have done with Light during that time alone. Their assumptions became increasingly bold, to the point that they wished, out of envy and anger, for a curse to fall upon her. That was when Mei entered the room, having overheard part of their words while passing through the corridor. The maids tried to cover it up, flattering her in sweet tones, but it was useless. In the end, they confessed they were jealous of her relationship with Light. Mei sighed and explained that during the 3 months before Ayuki's summoning, Master Light had spent all his time reading and practicing different martial arts styles. There had been no room for any of the fantasies they were imagining. She also said she had come because she thought she might have been too harsh in ordering them to clean the entire corridor. But upon seeing their behavior, she realized she was wrong. Then she ordered them to clean the throne room as well. The maids tried to beg for mercy, but Mei only replied that they could clean the room in the same free time they used to talk badly about her, exactly as they had been doing before being caught. With no way out, the maids immediately began cleaning the throne room. However, one of them accidentally bumped into the decoration Nazuna had broken earlier, knocking it over again. The noise made it seem like the poor girl was the one responsible for the damage. Meanwhile, Nazuna was already lying down, closing her eyes, wishing she could see Master Light the next day. The next morning, Light summoned Nazuna, Ellie, and Ayuki. When they met, he gently patted Ayuki, which sparked jealousy in the other two, but the meeting was interrupted by a hellhound that appeared before them. Just the creature's presence made Light tremble, a reflection of the traumas he still carried from the past. The 3 girls instantly changed posture, ready to eliminate the monster, but Light calmed them down. Given their power, that dog looked like nothing more than a harmless pup. Then Light revealed the reason for summoning them. He had just received a message from Mei. It was time to put the plan into action. The prey had finally taken the bait. After 3 years of preparation, the time had come to serve the first course of revenge. The scene then shifts to the Beastmen Federation, in the City of Wolves, where Garu was practically worshipped by his kind. And so, we conclude the second episode of the anime Shinjaitida Nakama Takai Nai Dungeon Okuchi. If you want the continuation of the next episodes, leave it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with the upcoming videos. See you next time.